Hello everybody and welcome to Go Baja Riding Tours video series on how to build your ultimate desert bike. I'm Bruce Anderson and I'm the owner and guide of Go Baja Riding Tours. 22 years now I've been racing in Baja with multi-championships, and I'm standing with one of my favorite bikes to ride down in Baja, the Honda XR650R series bike. And these are highly modified for tour bikes, along with our XR400 series bike that we're going to show you in a moment here. So come on along. All right, here we are in the shop with our parts list, a partial parts list for our XR400 build. And you know, these bikes we've used in Baja for many years as pre-runner bikes and tour customer bikes, and also for my team that guides the customers on our adventure tours. Our basic 4-day tour runs 500 miles. So our bikes run week in and week out, and these Honda XR400s are very, very tough. A lot of the clients ask for the 450X because, as you know, it's electric start. So the 400 is kickstart, but it's so simple and so durable. We call them the skill saws. You use them all day and throw them in the dirt and just turn them on the next day and away you go. So starting out with every bike, you want to have it looking good and riding good. And to do that, you got to have good rubber. Every kind of custom build, the first thing you do is want righteous rubber. So a couple of years ago, we started working with a company called MTA Products. They're right here in Corona, California, and they offered up these tires that nobody had ever heard of. They're called STIs, and we ran them on our Glen Helen 24-hour bike, and they're just out of sight. They're durable, they're tough. Some guys like to say, well, they're not a Dunlop. But you're right, they're not Dunlop, but they're half as much money. So they work great for us. They work tough in Baja. And when we back them up with the STI 4mm tube, front and rear, the wheels are heavy, but you can run into a brick wall and not get a flat tire. So that's our start out. We're going to take the wheels off the 400, and we're going to lace up some heavy-duty XL spokes and some real sharp XL rims. And one of the things we just found out a while back is there's a rim stamp on the rim, and that is to go on the sprocket side. And we didn't know that before, so we laced up a few rims wrong here. Now, the next step is we're going to gear this bike for Baja. The stock gearing, the bike's good for about 60 miles an hour. When we're done with this 400, it'll crack 95 all day, and it'll cruise at 65. So what we've been using on all our tour bikes is a Sunstar steel sprocket. A little bit heavier, but very durable. And we mate that with a Renthal front sprocket. Again, very durable. None of these products we get paid to endorse. This is what we've used for our tour bikes over the years, and they really work. Now, just for general principles, we're backing it up with the bolt kit, new sprocket bolts on the rear, and we've also got a top-of-the-line O-ring JT chain. And JT is also marketed by MTA Products in Corona, and they seem to have a pretty good product going here and a real good value. So moving on down the line here, we've been using the EBC brake pads on our tour bikes. They're very durable, they don't tear up the rotors, they work good in the wet. Not something you have to worry about in Baja, but some of you East Coast guys, you want to know that. So again, we're going from the chassis first and on in. We've got Moose products is something that we've endorsed for years, we've used. We've got the Moose wheel bearings front and rear. So the wheels will basically be brand new. The tires and tubes will be brand new. And the brakes will be brand new. So we're moving on from that. We're going to use the Moose steering head bearings and the Pivot Works rear suspension linkage set. So the bike will be sitting up tall and looking good. Now, IMS Products sells, everybody knows, a great set of foot pegs. We like these wider pegs that are rounded. Some guys like the real sharp pegs for moto. The problem is it tends to wear your boots out. And we're talking hours and hours and days on these bikes. So once we build this 400, we're going to light it up and ride it right to Cabo on the first trip. So that'll take care of the chassis pretty much. Hey everybody, Bruno here, Go Baja Riding Tours with my son Max. We're here with our XR400 Baja bike project, and we got some of the dirt blown off, and come to find out that this bike isn't as bad as we thought it was. I think this is a kind of a sleeper in old dog's clothing, because once we got down below the dirt, this bike doesn't look too bad. One thing is it's got a complete Baja Designs street legal dual sport kit on it, which we're not going to use. And so we're going to save that kit, and we're probably going to sell that on Craigslist for 300 bucks, and that will help sponsor part of the fix up in the build here. Maybe we'll buy a nice new Pro Circuit pipe or something fun with that. So we're getting ready to start filling up this shopping cart over here with all the leftover parts. And one thing I really love about these XR400s is in stock trim, Honda claims they're 256 pounds, which isn't bad for a Baja bike. Now we're going to start tearing into this thing. So stay tuned, and here we go. We'll see you on the trail. All right, so Max and I are just about done with the teardown. We took the wheels off. They were rusted on and over torqued, and the bearings were crushed, and we wrestled those off. We got the front forks off, ready to go to Precision Concepts. We're going to get a revalve. We took the rear shock and the rear linkage apart. We're going to get new springs and a revalve on the rear shock. We're going to hard anodize that shock body so the thing will last forever. The steering bearings were completely crusty and rusted, so we're going to drive the races out before we start assembling the bike now. We got the sprocket off the engine, and we're going to clean up all those hold downs and put a higher gearing countershaft on. We got the carburetor and all the cables off. Carburetor's going to get a rebuild, and while we got it torn down, we're going to pull it apart. We're going to pull the plug and do a valve adjustment and see where the specs are on the valves. And then we start the beautiful part of assembly. So once we get the old foot pegs off, we are officially stripped as far as we're going to go. And the wheels go to the wheel guy, the suspension goes to the suspension guy, and we're the rest. We're doing the rest. So there's about 35 pounds of wasted parts, and we're going to transfer some of the hardware off the gas tanks, and before you know it, we'll have this thing put back together. So we'll see you on the trail.